CM Punk has been fired by Tony Khan, by AEW. 2 years ago, we got the first dance where it all started off so great, didn't it? The potential was there. I thought, this is it, yes. AEW, do you know what I mean? The first 2 years of AEW, I thought it was really good. It was great, weren't it, really? It was fresh. They really delivered, didn't they, during the pandemic? I mean, those empty arena shows, it was hard in front of no fans, but I think AEW delivered better than anyone, without a doubt. They kept us going throughout the pandemic. And then crowds came back, and within 2 months, we had Punk, we had Danielson signing with AEW. I thought, right, this is it. We can really start running and going forward here, and it just didn't happen, didn't it? They had the chance, but I think through a lot of things, I think this podcast, if you're a Tony Khan fan, you might as well turn off now, because as much as I like Tony Khan as a person, he comes across well. He's a diehard wrestling fan like us. I think his booking, I'd say, for the last 14, 15 months has just been, he's got the best roster possibly in the history of wrestling. It'd be hard for the show to be crap with the amount of talented wrestlers you've got on it, but his storytelling, his feuds, his ideas have it's just been empty promises, I think. I think that is what, I mean, you have Punk, you have Danielson, you've got Omega, The Elite, Hangman Page, Miro, you've got, do you know what I mean? You've had Will Ospreay on your shows. You've got all the best wrestlers in the world that aren't in New Japan, and obviously a couple in WWE on your show. And you've just, what legendary feuds have you given us? Punk MJF. Do you know what I mean? What else, really? I mean, don't get me wrong. I'm not completely shitting on AEW. I'm an AEW fan. It's pretty, put it this way, I prefer AEW than any other wrestling company. So I'm in no way not an AEW fan. But, yeah, so anyway, I feel like I'm waffling on a little bit there. But yeah, CM Punk is fired. I mean, I was there live. At least I can say that I was there live for CM Punk's last ever match in AEW. Unless like something crazy happens in a few years' time. Never say never. But yeah, I was there in the building. I mean, the moment wasn't wasted on me. I mean, going into All In, I wasn't excited for really any of the feuds, any of the matches. I was just excited to see CM Punk at Wembley. That was the one thing I thought, you know what? I'll be honest, the week before I was thinking, is it even worth making the trip? You know, hundreds of pounds on hotels, travelling, leaving my kids for the weekend, pregnant girlfriend for the weekend, yeah, another one. And, you know what I mean? I was thinking, what do I even do? But then I thought, no, it's an 80,000-seater show at Wembley. CM Punk at Wembley. You can't not go to this, obviously. But probably, I mean, I'm not one for, like, favourite wrestlers, but if I had favourite wrestler, it'd be probably Punk, Danielson, Ospreay, those sorts. So I thought, I'm getting to see Punk live, I'm getting to see Ospreay live. Went to the Copper Box show the night before, so yeah. Little did we know, whilst I'm sat there videoing CM Punk's entrance, singing my hearts out for the Cult of Personality, backstage, CM Punk was basically choking out Jack Perry, Jungle Boy. I mean, he went out in a blaze of glory, didn't he? He went out, beat up Jack Perry, had a killer match with Samoa Joe, possibly the match of the night. So it was really hard from our view to actually get into the match that much. But, yeah, we'll get into that later on. But, yeah, so basically CM Punk chokes out Jack Perry from all rumours and then turned his attention to Tony Khan, where this is the word that we've all heard over this last week or two in wrestling. He lunged. I'm sick of the word lunged. He lunged. Can we please elaborate? What is lunged? He jumped towards Tony Khan's direction. I mean, a lot of things. I think, obviously, before I go into the reasons and who else is to blame for this, let's face it, CM Punk, love him to bits, but he has acted like a complete idiot. Yeah? You can't be doing what he's done. You can't be, fucking stupid word, I'm sick of this word. You can't be lunging at your boss, yeah? You can't. But I think everyone criticising him. We know CM Punk's a hothead. This is why, do you know what I mean? We've known this for years. Face it, most of us wouldn't even be wrestling podcasting without CM Punk. Because the guy, he got everyone back into like WWE, I'd say, in 2011, 2012. He just, for the last year, I'm pretty sure, yeah, as much as all these podcasters, Meltzer, Alvarez, because the podcasters, they're not journalists, the podcasters, yeah, that's where they make their money. No one's fucking spending money for the Observer these days, yeah. Podcasts is where people are making the money. All these people, do you know what I mean? The list is endless of podcasts. I'm not going to go into all the names of it, but I guarantee, if you go for the last 2 years, there will barely have been a weekly show without CM Punk being one of the most talked about things on their show. So be careful what you wish for, because now I'm saying that. I was going to say now he's gone, you might not be talking about him, but we're all going to be talking about him potentially returning to WWE. But all these podcasters seem to hate CM Punk, but they just spend pretty much all their time speaking about CM Punk. But yeah, you've got to, I mean, I'm actually pissed off at how everything turned. I didn't need to be like this. I mean, we all know what CM Punk's like, okay? Like, it just could have been, I think Tony Khan, the people you've got to blame, CM Punk, main culprit, yeah? Right? But there's other people, the Young Bucks. Maybe not Kenny Omega, because he just does whatever the Young Bucks say. The Young Bucks are to blame. Tony Khan is to blame the most, I think, in all this for his, I'm sorry, but just weak management. That's all that it can be described as. Weak management. I mean, if Marco Silva, for those of you who are into American rugby or whatever it's called, the NFL I believe it's called, so might not know much about football, any of our American listeners. Fulham's manager is Marco Silva, yeah? And I guarantee if Marco Silva managed, who were Fulham's star player, it probably was Mitrovic, but he's gone. If Marco Silva handled Alexander Mitrovic the way Tony Khan has handled CM Punk, yeah? Tony Khan would be firing Marco Silva because his management of CM Punk, his management of this whole situation has just been, it's been ridiculous. Do you know what I mean? Right, let's just go into All In for a start, right? All In, right? So, who has CM Punk got the most heat within the company? The Elite. The Elite and Jungle Boy, okay? So, CM Punk at the start of this weekend, okay? So, we all knew there wasn't anyone waiting for him to be picked up. So CM Punk had to get an Uber, whatever. People are saying, oh, is he not capable of getting an Uber? Is he not capable of operating the underground system? CM Punk, yeah, is the main star on a show that's a main event in Wembley in front of 80,000 people, yeah? I'm pretty sure he's within his rights, yeah, to expect someone to come and pick him up from the airport, yeah? Pretty sure that. So let's just cut out that bollocks to start with, okay? Right. So he's already pissed off about this, okay? That he's been having to travel with all the fans and figure out the underground, okay? So he's pissed off about that, yeah? He's pissed off about the fact it seems a bit ironic that it's come out now that say the Elite, who the fuck do the Young Bucks think they are? Oh, we'll give him 6 months and then we might let him speak to him. They're supposed to be EVPs of the company, right? CM Punk is a bigger star than the Young Bucks and he's a bigger star than Kenny Omega. Yeah? Simple. Fact. No debate in that, okay? And the Young Bucks we'll give him 6 months and then we'll speak to him. If the Young Bucks had the best interest of this company, yeah, they would have sat down in a room, yeah, like professional wrestlers would and think, do you know what? Let's put all this to one side. Let's at least talk about it, yeah? There's money to be made. What is going to be best for it? What would have been best for AEW? Was this best for AEW? Having to fire their biggest star, was that best for AEW? No, it wasn't, okay? What was best for AEW after the brawl out stuff, yeah, would be exactly what Bret Hart and Shawn Michaels did. When they had real life heat and skirmishes backstage, because it was a skirmish, yeah? Get over it, move on, right? What did they do? They went and they main evented WrestleMania, yeah? They main evented WrestleMania and continued to work together. So CM Punk, obviously, he's from that school, and he probably thought, you know what, we've got and I can't stand the Young Bucks, that's probably what he's thinking, but there's money in this. It's going to benefit him. It's going to benefit the Young Bucks. It's going to benefit AEW. It's going to benefit Tony Khan, and therefore it's going to benefit all those fans, yeah? So CM Punk wanted to feud with the Elite. That is the feud that we all wanted, but the Young Bucks wouldn't sit in the same room with him because they thought, let's give him 6 months. What a load of shit. They should have thought, for the best interest of the company, sat down in the room with CM Punk and sorted out where they're going forward. This all stems from these four. Hangman Page as well in this, yeah, I shouldn't forget him, because that's where it all stemmed from, okay? And then, because the Elite didn't want to do this, yeah, you've got little things stemming from this. There's the people on the Punk side of things, say your FTRs, Brody King, stuff like that, yeah? On CM Punk's side of things, that it's affected them. This affected Ricky Starks because he didn't get his big match at, well, he ended up getting it, didn't he, with Bryan Danielson. But all the other things on the side, Jungle Boy was brought into this because he's on the Young Bucks side, yeah? And it all stemmed from the fact that the Young Bucks weren't willing to sit down in a room with CM Punk. And people say, oh, why should they have to do that? They shouldn't have to do that. But I'd like to think that the people whose name is in the company, the people who are EVPs, yeah, have the best interest of the company. And the best interest of the company is not CM Punk being on the outside, potentially going back to WWE. AEW, if they have any hope, yeah, of even slightly competing with WWE, they need the big stars. They need CM Punk. What do you think would happen, yeah, in WWE if this happened with Roman Reigns? One, they wouldn't fire him because he's the biggest star in the company. But two, which should have been one, it wouldn't get to this in the first place. Because as much as I slagged off Vince McMahon, yeah, he wouldn't allow this. Triple H wouldn't allow this. It's funny how CM Punk only lasted in AEW for 2 years, but he was managed for, 8 years? 8 years in WWE. Yeah? Funny that, isn't it? Right? But the main thing is here. So when the Young Bucks and Kenny Omega and Hangman Page aren't willing to sit in a room with your biggest star, yeah, which that's on them. That EVPs of the company, they should be doing that. If they care about the fans, they care about the company, yeah, they should be willing to sit down and talk at least with the main event and the biggest paid star on the roster, yeah? But they didn't do that. But if they're not willing to do that, which is completely ridiculous that they wouldn't do that, the guy who owns the company, Tony Khan, yeah, who comes out in front of Chicago and everyone's like, oh yeah, he showed his bollocks then, yeah, he should have flopped out his bollocks, yeah, and gone, do you know what? I'm not putting up with this. You and you, get yourselves in a room and let's sort this out. Vince McMahon, yeah, would force that to happen. Triple H would force that to happen. Do you think the Young Bucks, if they were in WWE and this was going on, could be like, oh no, we're not speaking to him. We're not having anything to do with him. If there's a big money... Do you imagine, for example, Roman Reigns falls out with Cody Rhodes, yeah? That's clearly going to be the main event for WrestleMania. Say they have a big falling out and they refuse... Say Cody refuses to work with Roman. Do you think that WWE are going to put up with that? Do you think that Triple H and Vince are going to put up with that? No. They're going to have to get in a room and they're going to have to hash things out. Otherwise, see you later. But what did Tony Khan do? Nothing. He allowed it to happen. Instead of, like... Do you know what I mean? Forcing the two people, yeah, who he is the boss of, yeah, he could have made this happen. Instead, he's like, oh no, CM Punk, there you go. Have your own show. Let's just keep you all separate. I remember thinking at the time, they're keeping them all separate, yeah, but they're going to be together on pay-per-views. So, what's the point in keeping them separate if 4, 5, 6, 7 times a year they're going to be together? What was the point in that? Instead of, like, just letting it go on, and then till eventually it erupted, which it did, Tony Khan should have been a manager. He should have been a leader of this company and sorted something out. But instead, he sat there and he allowed this to happen. Tony Khan, yeah, so Tony Khan allows this to happen by not putting his foot down and saying, Bucks, Punk, Kenny, Hangman Page, get in a room together. Let's sort this out. Let's sort this out for the betterment of the company and for the betterment of the individuals. But no, what did he do? He gave Punk his own show. They didn't have to communicate with each other. They was away from each other until they eventually got on one of these shows where they both needed to be on. And what did Tony Khan do on one of these shows? Did he keep them apart? No. He put Jungle Boy on first, CM Punk out next, and the Elite out after that. So CM Punk is sandwiched in between Jungle Boy and the Elite in match order. Anyone with a brain could have told you that was going to be a problem. That's exactly what happened. Exactly what happened. I mean, I'm sure there's, do you know what I mean, conspiracy theorists out there that are probably potentially thinking maybe he did that on purpose. Maybe he did, probably didn't, but maybe he did. I think he was just incompetent, to be honest. But why would you do that? Why would you have Jungle Boy, who clearly had issues with CM Punk, go on directly before him? Because, and then you've got the fact, you can imagine WWE, right? If you had, the biggest star in WWE is Roman Reigns, yeah? The biggest star in AEW is CM Punk. Imagine... Do you think, so, who's on the level of Jungle Boy in WWE? Let's just think of a mid-card, a young mid-carder. Not young. Say Chad Gable. Okay, so Chad Gable, right? You think Chad Gable, say if he had heat with Roman Reigns backstage, do you think Chad Gable would feel like he'd be able to go out there and basically antagonize Roman Reigns in his match? Do you think he would say, look into the camera during his match and basically call out Roman Reigns, even though it had nothing to do with the storyline? No, he wouldn't, because he wouldn't fucking dare, because he know there would be serious repercussions from Vince, Triple H, whoever runs the company. But in AEW, because Tony Khan has such bad management skills, Jungle Boy, who is never going to main event a show, do you know what I mean? He's not. He's not in the main event show. Thinks that he knows that he's going to get away with going out there and calling out your biggest star, provoking all this, and then that happens. Do you know what I mean? He thinks that is something he can get away with. And sure, yeah, he's been suspended, but he'll be back, won't he? He'll be back. But it just, this all stems, everything that happens just stems from bad leadership. Tony Khan's leadership of AEW over the last 18 months has been pathetic. His storytelling hasn't been much better, but his leadership skills have been pathetic. Simple as that. And people can say whatever they want. Like, oh, wasn't he brave to go out in front of those people in Chicago? Man, come on. Get a grip. Get a grip. But, yeah, that's it. CM Punk's gone. So because, of Tony Khan's bad management, because CM Punk's a dick, because the elite are little bitches who wouldn't get in the room with CM Punk, the fans are the ones that suffer. We don't get CM Punk versus MJF in a unification match. We don't get CM Punk versus Kenny Omega. We don't get the match that we got robbed from main event in WrestleMania all those years ago in CM Punk versus Bryan Danielson. No, we don't get that. All because Punk's a dick, Tony Khan can't manage to save his life, and the Young Bucks, in particular, are little bitches, basically. So yeah, that's why we don't get all that stuff. That's why the fans suffer. And AEW is eventually going to feel the repercussions of this, because if you look at Arthur Ashe is next Wednesday, okay? A week off. They've sold 6,000 tickets for Arthur Ashe. 6,000 tickets. Let that sink in. They was getting 3 times that many people going. Yeah? 3 times that many people going 2 years ago. So that was when Brian Omega was we got Kenny Omega versus Bryan Danielson on the show. We got CM Punk versus Hobbs, yeah? 2 big stars in singles matches. I'm trying to think, what else did we get on that show? I feel like the women main event, but you got 2 big matches. What have we got this time? I mean, as much as I like Roderick Strong at the moment, we're going to get MJF versus Roderick Strong. That's another thing. Next week on this show, yeah, we are going to talk about MJF and his drawing as champion. And this storyline with Adam Cole, because as much as people saying it's been entertainment, it's not fucking drawing much, is it? People are investing in the story, and they will go, look at the Bloodline story with WWE. Look how big the attendance is and how much they've improved because of the Bloodline story. Yeah? This MJF Adam Cole thing is not drawing. Simple. Okay? Simple. But yeah, I just want to think if there's anything more I can touch on with CM Punk, really. We've talked about Tony Khan's weak management and stuff like that. I mean, the big question is now, I've spoke about exactly what I thought about all that. The big question now is he going to go back to WWE? I mean, we all know the history with WWE. I mean, WWE could have brought him back before. I mean, the only thing, the hope is for CM Punk. I actually hope he goes back. Do you know, I hope he goes back to WWE, yeah? And just shows. WWE is, I can't believe I'm even defending WWE. WWE is the grown-up company. Say if Punk goes back to WWE, yeah? Do you think Kevin Owens is going to say, no, I'm not going to work with him? Do you think Seth Rollins, who doesn't like him, is going to be like, no, I'm not going to speak to him for 6 months? No, it's not going to happen. They'll work with him. Do you think Roman Reigns doesn't like CM Punk? Let's not forget CM Punk buried Roman Reigns. He wanted Chris Hero to be the 3rd man in the Shield. So CM Punk and Roman Reigns have no love lost between them. Roman Reigns actively does not like CM Punk. But Roman Reigns said, look, I'll do business with him. Do you know why? Because Roman Reigns gets the wrestling business. The Young Bucks and Kenny Omega don't. Simple. I don't want to make it out like, oh, I hate the Elites. I don't. I'm big fans of the Young Bucks. I think they're fucking brilliant in ring. Kenny Omega is just fucking amazing. Hangman Page should be the guy that AEW centered around, but we'll get into that another time. Terrible booking of Hangman Page. But the way they've acted with this CM Punk situation is fucking ridiculous. Do I think he'll go back to WWE? Yes, I think it will happen. I think maybe, although it didn't happen before, I think WWE would have been pissed off that Punk went back to AEW. Well, went to AEW and thought, oh, why have we opened the door for that? Now they can have Punk in their company. They can just use him as their mouthpiece, basically, to go and basically shit on AEW, can't they? I mean, what a slap in the face that'd be for Tony Khan and AEW. It just depends how bitter and how much WWE dislike AEW, which we know is a lot, let's be honest. I mean, can you imagine them doing, right, fuck it, Cody, you're not facing Roman at Mania, we're going to do Punk versus Cody, two of the biggest stars AEW has ever had and will ever have main event in WrestleMania. Can you imagine if they did that? I mean, yeah, it's just crazy, isn't it? Just fucking crazy. But it's exciting. We'll see where it's going. I mean, it's just a waste, isn't it? CM Punk. We had CM Punk in your company for 2 years, yeah? Didn't have a match with Cody. Didn't have a match with Kenny Omega. Who else did he not have a match with? Didn't have a match with the Young Bucks. Do you know what I mean? Didn't have a... You had CM Punk and Bryan Danielson in your company for 2 years. A new company. And you didn't have them face each other in a match. Tony Khan, seriously, you have messed this up. I mean, the only thing for AEW is I hope that, look, it's happened now, there's nothing. I hope Tony Khan learns from this and he starts booking his wrestling shows properly. Do you know what I mean? I mean, Dynamite I thought last week was good. Collision was okay. Hopefully he learns from this. Let fresh slate and we can get back to enjoying the matches. More structure to the shows. Hopefully that's CM Punk's lasting legacy in AEW. He's taught Tony Khan that your shows need more structure, but I wouldn't bank on it. Hopefully I'm wrong. I mean, like you say, you're always going to have the best wrestlers saving your ass, which is what happened. That's what happened at All Out, and yeah, that seems what has happened the case. But yeah, that's everything on CM Punk. I do think he'll end up in WWE. I hope he will. But yeah, the thing is that it does, CM Punk fans, yeah, they're just going to go back to WWE, aren't they? You're giving WWE more of an advantage, which they already have in this. It's just a shame. AEW is supposed to be the company for the fans, and look, the Bucks wouldn't sit down with Punk and let the fans have everything they wanted. They wanted to keep this going, and they knew that Punk was a ticking time bomb. That is exactly what happened.